Welcome to Drama Mondays, gamers. Here's a fun fact. Did you know that every single light in Minecraft flickers slightly? Well, unless you're on Bedrock Edition, I guess. I can't tell if they decided not to include that or if they just forgot. I found this great and amazing fun fact when this set was being constructed. I recently switched over to 30 brightness because of some short man, so it was dark enough that I could see the lights flickering a couple times a second, and there's no way to turn it off in-game. Great. I can't have an annoying flicker in my YouTube video, so I needed a solution. Naturally, I went to YouTube and found this video, Minecraft No Flicker Texture Pack, made by Stingray Productions. His pack needs Optifine to work, so I installed Optifine for the first time in years, loaded up the texture pack, and it worked. However, I wanted to modify the pack just a little bit. I opened up the pack and I found these two folders, one named Optifine, that makes sense, but the other had a name that I'd actually never heard of before. MCPatcher. I looked up MCPatcher for 2 seconds. I got the impression that it was just some really old mod that merged with Optifine, so I wrote that down and moved on with my life. As my incredibly interesting script about flickering lights was coming to a finish, I wanted to figure out when they officially merged so I could give a date in the video, but I couldn't find a date. There was no date anywhere. There wasn't even any evidence that they merged at all. But that's super weird because from all that I could find, they work in the exact same way. What's going on here? First of all, what the hell even is a texture pack? I ask myself, alone. That's a good question, I say to myself, still alone. Basically, it's an operation hole in the game made by Mojang that allows you to replace the textures in the game. My local library only has this Star Wars BB-8 operation game, so that's what we're going to use for this metaphor. These textures are so easy to modify that even a YouTuber can figure it out. Name a photo, something like magenta_glazed_terracotta.png, put it in assets Minecraft textures block, and congratulations, you've packed a texture. Wow, you're so good. This is great, but this system doesn't include everything. For example, you can't change the color of the lighting with normal texture packs. It's just impossible. MCPatcher solves this problem by cutting another metaphorical hole into BB-8 to add more customization options to the normal system. MCPatcher contained multiple small mods that could be patched onto the Minecraft jar. Ah, I see what they did there. The creator, Car, would make many of these included mods, and a couple creators would hand their mod over to Car to put it natively into MCPatcher. The user could select the ones that they wanted and they would be added to the game. Plus you could actually patch other mods that weren't included in MCPatcher with MCPatcher. The actual work here, as I understand it, is making all of these mods run at the same time and be controlled by one comprehensive file format. It made it so that one pack maker could take advantage of tons of customization options all at the same time in the same pack, and it would work for any version of MCPatcher. So remember, the file format is kind of a big deal. We'll come back to that. Card would drastically improve MCPatcher over time, adding higher resolution textures, connected textures, fully randomizable mobs, randomized block textures, HD fonts, animated items, animated blocks. Pack creators could fully customize the skyboxes, lighting, watercolors, grass colors, particles, and so much more, all working together in harmony, all controlled by a single unified format. So if you want the lighting to be this color at all times, no need to make a mod, just put this light map into the special MCPatcher light map folder, and you're all set. Now all day and all night, and everything you see is just blue, inside and outside. Dabu-dee-dabu-die. This extra customization made texture pack artists fall in love with MCPatcher. I'm sure that this must have been a ton of work to do. It'd be a shame if someone came by and just copied it all. What are you doing here? It's time for a line. Friday, April 8th, 2011, Opti Fog was created by SP614X, which was a mod to make the fog less annoying. We're gonna call him SP for this video, and I'm gonna give the typical YouTuber drama video message and tell you right now to seriously, not go and harass SP or anyone else mentioned in this fucking story. It is not worth it. This was more than a decade ago, okay, you fucking hooligans? What SP's about to do is not good, but there's not much he can do about it now. I'm gonna assume that he has changed for the better in the past 13 years. Opti Fog would eventually become Optifine, and it added a bunch of performance tweaks to make the game run faster. Nowadays, it's kind of a joke how bad Optifine is, but back then, it was essential to how many people played the game. Like, people straight up could not play it without Optifine. It was like 5 FPS. At this point in our story, Optifine and MCPatcher had nothing in common, other than being very popular Minecraft mods. They lived together in harmony. Then everything changed when the Optifine Nation attacked. On June 10th, 2011, SP added HD textures to Optifine, which was MCPatcher's big feature at the time. And he put right at the top of the post that MCPatcher was not needed anymore. Very weird thing to say. I don't know, maybe, you know, maybe it's just a fluke. You know, maybe he just did that once. He surely learned from his mistakes. He surely would not do that again. Less than a month later, SP adds HD fonts to Optifine, then says that all MCPatcher functions are now implemented. Okay, well, I mean, very interesting here. So, he literally said in a forum post that you can still find today, link in the description, that he was actively copying all of MCPatcher's features. Well then, on October 15th, Carr mentions that he's adding animated textures for all blocks and items to MCPatcher. Great new feature, Carr. It'd be a shame if anything happened to it. 2 months later, on December 7th, SP mentions that he's very coincidentally also working on adding animated textures to all blocks in the game. He also mentions random mobs, which is another prominent feature in MCPatcher. People started to notice that there's something a little bit off about this whole situation. I want to introduce Misa. They're a prolific texture pack creator, and I interviewed them for this video. This is what they said about it at the time. How about the fact that this mod's threads to-do list appears to aim to steal every innovative feature produced by other modders that have been incorporated into MCPatcher? HD animated blocks and items, random mobs, font spacing? That seems to be a bit too specific to be a coincidental idea that the author just came up with on their own out of nowhere. It was getting pretty heated, so Carr came out of the woodworks and said this on Misa's thread. I should weigh in on the whole Optifine versus MCPatcher thing before it gets out of hand. I don't see anything unethical with mods re-implementing each other's features. At the time, this response from Carr made a lot of sense. SP had just implemented HD textures and fonts, which were basically just bug fixes for the game, and SP had only really just talked about adding a couple other features. It seems reasonable, from Carr's point of view at the time, to think that SP was just building out Optifine's own completely separate system that could coexist with MCPatcher. That would have been okay, I guess. Carr would let SP have an inch. Surely he wouldn't take a mile. December 10th, 2011, Carr mentions that he's going to be adding custom colors for the water, grass, particles, and the lighting. 2 weeks later, SP drops Optifine 1.0, which added custom watercolors and animated textures. Wow, what a coincidence. Wow, that's crazy. Optifine 1.1, connected textures, custom sky, and custom fog colors, and randomized mobs. You know, these features are quite similar to the ones they have at MCPatcher.
Oh no, patented Skinner burgers, old family recipe.
Optifine 1.2, he added randomized block textures, sky colors for the other two dimensions, and of course our old friend the light maps, which is the whole reason I'm here. To exemplify all these never-before-seen features, SP links to Misa's texture pack. The weird, very strange thing is that this pack was made for MCPatcher, not Optifine. So why would SP point to that pack? These were two completely different mods. People couldn't just use an MCPatcher pack on Optifine straight out of the box. Right? They couldn't. He couldn't do that, right? He would. Wait a minute. It used the exact same file structure as MCPatcher. It even uses the MCPatcher folder in the pack! Look, okay? We're on Optifine 1.7.10. This pack only has an MCPatcher folder in it, and the game still looks like Eiffel 65's Breakout single. This still works on the oldest versions on the Optifine website, which you can still download to this day! This is extra fucked when you remember that these features all working together in one file format is the entire point of MCPatcher's existence. MCPatcher had the work of developing this structure and bringing it into popularity, and SP copied it verbatim. This isn't even speculation. I could drop the legalese, whatever. He literally just straight up fucking copied it. All of the existing MCPatcher packs would work directly on Optifine, right out of the box, no modification necessary. This would embolden SP to put his 3 favorite words right at the top of the official download page. MCPatcher not needed. I think this single line says it all. It's one thing to recreate a single feature from a mod you like. It's a whole other thing to copy the mod's file format verbatim, then put on your download page that the original mod is not needed anymore. It looks to me like this isn't some collaboration or rebirth. It's trying to be a replacement. These words are still on Optifine's website to this day. I think this is a good time to talk about porting mods over to new versions. This happens very often in the modding community. Someone makes a beloved mod, it stops being updated for one reason or another, and someone else gets to remake it for a newer version. This already has happened with MCPatcher. Car inherited this mod from its original creator, Zao. Some mods, like Carpenter's Blocks, have had this happen multiple times over, ported to Block Craftery for 1.12, then Framed Blocks for up to 1.21. And I'm sure this person will get sick of it someday and it'll get replaced again. That's just how this goes. Mods die, then get revived by someone else, and that's fine. The difference here is that Optifine was adding features very similar to MCPatcher days after they were introduced, for the exact same versions of the game, then saying that the other mod wasn't needed anymore. This is not typically what happens when projects get ported. They are usually given with permission and already dead. When that doesn't happen, you have a situation like Faithful 32, a pack that came into existence because of MCPatcher, by the way, stopped being updated by its original creator, Vatic. It was then stolen and updated by someone else for years without permission. When this came out, there was outrage toward the thieves, because even though it was dead and they were updating it and adding more to it, they still took the original work without the author's permission, or even their knowledge. So the big question I had while researching this was, did SP ask Car for permission to do this? Now, obviously, there isn't any hard proof here to cite. This kind of thing would happen over DMs, and since they weren't using Twitch whispers, we don't have access to any of those. So to figure this out, let's look at the times that Car implemented other people's mods and compare that to what SP did with MCPatcher. Car adapted 2 mods for MCPatcher as far as I can tell, those being the Connected Textures mod and Rando Mobs. Car links directly to their MC Forms page right at the top of the MCPatcher page, which would be a weird thing to do if he was stealing their mods without permission, and also from the surviving forum posts, we can see that the creators of these 2 mods tell you that the official way to install their mod is to use MCPatcher. As I was editing, I found another person whose name is Mr. Messiah, who inspired the very early Better Grass mod on MCPatcher. He is credited explicitly as being the inspiration for this mod. Granted, Car does not actually link to it directly, but it does say explicitly Mr. Messiah's Better Grass mod. And it's the same thing as earlier, where this guy explicitly mentions MCPatcher in the forum post. We don't know if they were communicating or not, but it seems to me from this evidence that they had some kind of good relationship. You don't go around promoting your enemies, right? Meanwhile, looking at that quote from earlier, I believe that if SP is communicating with Car, this would be a pretty weird way for Car to talk about it, right? The one thing I learned from all of this is that Car really does not like arguments, and the easiest way to quell this entire Optifine versus MCPatcher thing would be to just say that he gave SP permission, but he doesn't ever say that. Also, looking through the next 4 years of forum posts from him, he never mentions a single time that SP contacted him at all. I feel like Car definitely should have mentioned that if that happened. Also, MCPatcher never recommends that you download Optifine, and vice versa, which seems weird to me if they're in communication and all good with each other. You don't go around promoting your enemies, right? Also, I asked someone who worked directly with Car and MCPatcher, it's Misa again, and they said that they don't know of SP and Car ever communicating at all. On the other hand, they say that Car got explicit permission from other modders to adapt their mods for MCPatcher. So, come up with your own conclusions. There's absolutely no way of knowing what happened. These are typically not the practices of someone who's making mods to improve the game for the sake of the modding community. It seems more to be a device that's being used to advance a business strategy by creating competition to eliminate, stealing the ideas of others, and forcing ad links on them for a profit. That brings us to why someone would want to forcibly corner the market on a stupid little Minecraft mod. Who cares, right? It might have something to do with... SP has never released any public figures on how many downloads or how much money he's made off of this mod. The real big thing is the Optifine cape. You get it by donating $10 on the Optifine website. It used to be the only way that you could get a cape if you couldn't buy a Minecon ticket in the 3 seconds that they were for sale. I conducted a pretty small observational study that I'll link in the description, but basically I found that about 15% of Java Edition players that have changed their skin have an Optifine cape, which seems about right to me based on what I usually see in servers. According to my calculations, it's safe to say that SP has made at least charged $10 because I bought one in 2013. Look, okay, look, I didn't know about this at the time, and I would ask for a refund now, but I'm about 4,000 days over the deadline, and I don't think they're gonna take it. We also haven't even mentioned the fact that every time you hit the download button, you're shown a ton of ads hosted directly on their website, including those super intrusive ones that open a new tab after you download. I bet those pay out pretty well. SP was one of the first mod creators to make use of AdFly links to monetize his mods. I'm pretty used to them at this point. They've been around for basically forever, but it's funny to see people on the forums try to download Optifine and encounter their very first one. They're so cute. It's like all the download links in the Optifine section leading to some kind of advertisement page. Same for all the links. Then SP has to explain to them how AdFly links work. Wow, really? When I click the link, I get a fucking Taylor Momsen gives fan a lap dance. What the fuck is this fake shit? To be clear, I think that people should be compensated for their work, and ads and donations are a great way to do that on the internet. Obviously, I'm a YouTuber. Donations and ad revenue are like a fountain of youth to my decrepit body. The problem comes when bad actors see all this money, then make total shit and put it behind an ad link. It doesn't matter if it's terrible or stolen or doesn't work at all, because they already got to show you an advertisement. Misa recalls that SP shenanigans were followed by a wave of scammers, sellouts, and AdFly links. I mean, when the biggest mod creator ever is openly emulating someone else's features with almost no backlash, then monetizing them with Taylor Momsen lap dance ads, what's stopping some other depraved entrepreneur from doing it as well? Who fucking cares, right? It's just a funny block game for children, right? I wasn't playing Minecraft during 2011, I was playing games for adults like Wii Sports Tennis and Wizard 101. But I remember when I did start playing, every single link I ever clicked to download a mod or texture pack went to AdFly first. The amount of generic, boring, shady, unfinished, non-functional texture packs I installed at the time was insane, while the creators got paid big time for them. Speaking of things that are unfinished, while Optifine's features completely eclipsed MCPatcher, there were many small tweaks to how everything worked, which is kinda weird when you put in big bold letters on your download page that MCPatcher is not needed. Like, no, it's not an actual replacement. Optifine's features are a lot less nuanced than the ones in MCPatcher. There were many small things that worked great on MCPatcher, but on Optifine they were forgotten or implemented wrong. Misa tells me that the connected textures in Optifine still do not work the way that they're supposed to this day. I forgot to mention that a big reason that I even found out about this whole thing was because the light maps don't work the same in MCPatcher versus Optifine. In MCPatcher, they built in the flicker so that it just checks along this light map, and then it picks one of the lines to be the lighting for each tick. Optifine implemented that fine, but eventually they broke it, and now the flicker only works with these 4 columns, and the other ones just don't matter at all. You can see how this kind of stuff happens when SP talks about developing these features. He pines about the oh so many hours he spent trying to make Misa's pack look like it did in MCPatcher. He was going for an end result, not from scratch, which is the whole problem. When you try to create things backwards, you miss the little nuances that you would have figured out if you had done it from the ground up. So a lot of people were installing Optifine, thinking it was just MCPatcher but better, then asking pack makers why the game looks so weird. The creators would have to keep telling their fans for years and years that Optifine is not the same as MCPatcher, and that moving the pack over there would actually force them to remove features. So the end result for the consumer was either that they ditch Optifine and go to MCPatcher, which was unlikely because of the FPS boost, or they would just decide that they didn't actually need the texture pack that much and not install it. Gee whiz, Batman, it sure seems like you could use that FPS boost as huge leverage. You could basically hold the entire modding and texture pack community hostage. Either you play nice with the mighty god of Optifine, or nobody's gonna download your creation. A great deal for everyone, as long as you're SP. People would even, and this is crazy, complain to Car that MCPatcher didn't work exactly the same as Optifine. Am I going fucking insane? It's not Car's fault that a mod ripping him off got his features wrong. What the fuck are you doing? After all of this, the mood had changed. The days of I see nothing wrong with copying someone else's mod were over. SP had gone too far. At first, you can actually use MCPatcher and Optifine at the same time, but as Optifine got more and more similar features, they eventually became completely incompatible. Car would have to keep telling people that they modify the exact same parts of the game, and they'll step on each other no matter what you do. With all these very similar features, as far as most people were concerned, Optifine was just better MCPatcher. I mean, it has all the same features, the website says MCPatcher's not even needed. Plus I get a zoom button, double the FPS, and an epic cape, and can use the new Forge mod loader? Awesome sauce, sign me up! We all said in unison. It was a no-brainer for the average person on what they would pick, and that's the whole point. Most people outside of the community didn't really pay much attention until it was too late. By the time Car was done, he'd expressed to me how tired he'd grown of having to update just to have Optifine show up MCPatcher while falsely advertising that it does everything MCPatcher did. Car really didn't want to make some big fight online, so he wasn't expressing this much. I assume he was kind of scared to pick a fight with the biggest mod of all time. And, same. As the years passed by, he was posting less and less on the forums, getting more and more disconnected from the community. He did this thing where he would leave for multiple days, then come back and reply to like 10 messages at the same time. It didn't help that as the mod was getting older, it started needing more in-depth updates. By 2015, Car was trying to manage updating 2 versions of MCPatcher at the same time to stay in competition. The classic jar injection version and a newfangled Forge mod. He did this despite saying for years that he would never move to Forge. This whole ordeal would stretch him pretty thin, as his mod was getting less and less popular by the day. Meanwhile, Optifine was blasting off to the moon as Minecraft reached its peak of popularity. I mean, you clicked on this video, you know what Optifine is. For the many filthy casuals out there, Optifine might be the one and only Minecraft mod they can name. Car would get tons of messages on his forum telling him that his mod sucked and they were moving over to Optifine now. You can tell how he feels about this because he dodges talking about the whole situation even years later. His last post on Minecraft forums was on Thursday, February 26th, 2015, informing the thread that his mod was updated to 1.8.3. This was right after he had disappeared for almost 5 months straight. This post got a reply saying, "I'd love to see more of you in this thread, even if it's just to stop in and say hi every now and again, to let your friends and admirers know that you still draw a breath, smile." Car would silently update MCPatcher to 1.8.7, then never return to the Minecraft forums. In 2017, the MCPatcher documentation on GitHub was archived, and since then, nothing has been publicly heard from Car. Will this ever be updated to work for the new launcher? Car has been active for 3 years. An update is never going to happen. Optifine is now your best bet. Sad, but true. MCPatcher was officially dead, and Optifine had won. And still, that wasn't the worst part. Okay, so let me ask you a question. Why did none of us know about this before just now? I know SP knows, he personally did it. Why doesn't the general public know about it? Even the people in Optifine's own Discord channel are clueless. When you mention this stuff about MCPatcher, they're confused about why this even matters. They're convinced that what actually happened was Optifine revived this old dead mod and re-implemented its features. People do that all the time, and I mean, that's what I assumed before looking into this whole thing. I didn't go into this searching for something wrong with Optifine, I just wanted to stop the fucking lights from flickering. MCPatcher is dead now, so the only record of its existence is in old texture packs, forum posts, and of course, Optifine. If you go to the Optifine documentation on GitHub, all of the features taken from MCPatcher are labeled as such in the documentation, right at the top. Sure, the people who actually created them, Car, Zhao, and many others, aren't credited at all, but that might be nitpicking, maybe. I don't know. This is an okay way of acknowledging MCPatcher's influence on the mod. Sure, this shouldn't have happened in the first place, but since it already did, this is better than nothing, I guess? What's not mentioned in Optifine's documentation, though, is that, SP didn't write this. Huge sections of the explanations of Optifine's features are actually just explanations of MCPatcher's features. Verbatim, copy and pasted from MCPatcher's documentation, but with the mentions of MCPatcher replaced with Optifine. Seriously. A ton of the files say at the top, based on the works of MCPatcher, then proceed to copy and paste the entire file into the documentation. God, that really reminds me of someone. I can't remember. Who was that guy? Not only that, but the old version of the Optifine Minecraft forum post was also plagiarized directly from the MCPatcher forum post. The GitHub also has a link at the very, very bottom of each page, linking back to the article they just copied and pasted to to act like that makes everything okay. God, that also kind of rings a bell. I'm not sure. You can also see in Optifine's GitHub history that a couple images were stolen directly from the MCPatcher documentation. These were later changed. Oh, sorry, they were fixed to be remade versions of the same images. It's now green. There's a 1 pixel border, and it has full lines instead of dotted lines. Why didn't they just do that in the first place? What the fuck? And with the skybox.png, they just changed the colors of the text to be white instead of red, which is just bizarre. They fixed that, and they're like, mission accomplished, boys. Easy done. We're all good. They'll never know. All of these changes imply to me that SP knows that what he did was wrong. That's the first step done, I guess. But it seems like he's trying to hide the obvious stuff like images and leave the written stuff just plagiarized. Because who cares about writing, right? Anyone could write about their own features in their own mod. Oh, I see the problem here. This is just plagiarism. There is no other word for this. Also on the Optifine GitHub is todo.txt, which lists out all of the MCPatcher features that still haven't been implemented to this day. It hasn't been modified since it was created in 2016. Which means that Optifine is still not a replacement for MCPatcher 13 years after SP claimed that it was. As if everything else wasn't enough, you can't even write your own fucking documentation for this. I guess that just goes to show how similar they are, when you could look at a different mod's documentation and still make a texture pack correctly. Jesus Christ. There's a new Optifine documentation called Opti Docs, and as far as I can tell, this one is actually plagiarism-free. Unsurprisingly, SP isn't involved at all. The entire OptiDocs page is maintained by Who Ate My Butter, not SP. He usually writes everything himself, because he's, you know, an actual writer. Another weird tweak to the story appears in the Optifine Discord server. Typing !donate has this auto-response. Optifine has been created, developed, and maintained solely by SP for 10 whole years and counting. Solely? Solely? Are you sure about that? Are you sure about that, SP? I feel like someone else might have also had a hand in developing features for Optifine, especially when you have a to-do list of their features on your GitHub. And you know how this all started because I saw the MCPatcher folder in a texture pack I downloaded? That too has been removed. At 9:30 a.m. on Thursday, October 11th, 2018, the MCPatcher folder was officially renamed to the Optifine folder. The only way to discover MCPatcher's existence is if you download an old texture pack, or if you go digging through the Optifine documentation. The developers of MCPatcher who pushed this game forward are slowly but surely being pushed backward out of the mod. They've served their worth to SP, I guess. He doesn't need them anymore. So, what do we do now? I really don't know. I don't really want Optifine to go away. A bunch of people rely on this mod being updated for their income. It's become one of the most consistent mods ever to exist. Optifine has been made for every version from beta 1.4 to release 1.20, and by the time GTA 6 comes out, we might get one for 1.21. This long of a streak is pretty rare in the modding community, especially not with the same developer the whole time. I can't help but wonder about the hypotheticals. Would MCPatcher have survived to this day? Would it have remained popular enough to go on to the era of Forge, or even to Fabric? There's not much of a way of knowing for sure, but I think it definitely would have had a better chance. And no amount of money or crediting can make up for that. Sure, I think the original creators of this mod should be credited explicitly, but that doesn't really do much. They're already gone. The mod's already dead. Nobody knows what MCPatcher is. I think this whole experience goes to show how easily creators can be wiped from the story. If I hadn't set my brightness to 30, built a set in Minecraft, noticed the flicker, found Stingray's pack with a redundant MCPatcher folder, and tried to mess with it, I would have never even noticed this. And I'm not sure that there were that many more opportunities for MCPatcher to be known to anyone. I mean, it's already been more than a decade. I hope that this video can bring Car's contribution to Minecraft modding the attention it deserves. Ironically, at this point, the most appealing, exclusive feature of Optifine might actually be the full suite of texture pack customization features. In recent years, there have been a lot of mods trying to replicate small parts of the Optifine format individually. These are mods like CIT Resewn, ETF, and Polytone, which is what I use to get the lights to stop flickering on fabric. These work okay, I guess, but they're usually super inconsistent, because they're 2 layers down in copying features, and they're doing it blind. The whole draw of this thing was that one system could control all of these different pieces, which doesn't work when you have 10 different developers working on completely different mods. Optifine is the only one that has all of them in one place, and that's definitely something. Optifine is this congealed mass of a million different features, so the performance isn't great anymore. Optifine's like an RV, while a mod like Sodium is an F1 car. It's really fast, but you can cook meth inside of Optifine. For some small features in Optifine, there are actually pretty good mods that replace them, like OK Zoomer, Capes Mod, and Reese's Sodium options. And apparently, the continuity dev, Pepper, reached out to some of the original MCPatcher devs for guidance on how to put it into their mod. So that's pretty cool. And the video was gonna end there, but there's some breaking news. I'm editing the video right now. I was informed that in the most recent snapshot, which as of writing this is 24W33A, it's the big one with the minecart changes and stuff, a file was added called lightmap, lightmap.json and lightmap.fsh, which are all places to modify the lightmap. So I guess we've come full circle. I don't know how to modify it. I haven't seen anyone modify it yet. If by the time that this video is done, somebody has figured out how it works, I'll put that here. It'll be on the screen now. Yeah. I don't know if there's a way to turn off the light flicker this way, though. They're like letting us in on how the math works on how to make the light maps. There's still no option to turn the light flicker off in-game, but believe it or not, they didn't actually use the MCPatcher file format. It was kind of weird that they didn't just completely steal someone else's format, and they actually came up with something on their own instead of stealing what other people have done. Anyways, that's it. Like and subscribe. Goodbye.